heard your YouTuber saying he won't cook in conventional lard because it's a lot of linoleic acid. He's an idiot. That's another carnivore, Luke, is it? Yeah. Tell him to watch my videos. And remind him that lard is actually lower. It's not, the amount of PUFA in is a different slot, different composition to that of tallow, but it's similar percentages. You're not getting any massive percentage. And if you're basically eating omega-3s as DHA and EPA from your diet and getting it from fish, eggs, liver, and those sort of things, and some from the red meat, you know what? That pathway is not going to be impeded, and it's just going to be converting linoleic acid to arachidonic acid. And what happens is when they look at carnivores and low-carb dieters that are doing this, their arachidonic levels go up. And arachidonic acid is not pro-inflammatory. It just goes up. And it's there to create prostaglandins and all that when a pathogen comes in, like a virus or whatever. That's normal functioning. It's only when it's chronic, because you're basically engaging in a random cycle, making yourself sick because of chronic eating behaviors of, sad dieters. That's a different thing. That's chronic. We're talking about arachidonic acid only gets activated in a low carb person when you've got low C-reactive protein, low inflammation diet and all that. It doesn't. It just accumulates. It just increases and actually binds into cells because it can be utilized. It can actually, that's how the body will take the arachidonic acid and turn it, so it can actually create the prostaglandins and all these other things that it requires when it requires them. So, it's just nonsense, guys. Nonsense.
And it's funny because these guys that posted this video, they actually have a lot of good material, but I've noticed for a while now that they are going a bit on the Ray Pitt side of things,
Yeah, look, Ray Pitt's got a lot to answer with a lot of bullshit that he's actually peddling out there with no science. I actually challenge these people, and you have to challenge them and say, show me the research. And they've got nothing to show. And you know what they do? They show you all these sad dieters, or they show you all these other people that are irrelevant, or rat studies, which are deliberately, they've actually added a whole lot of basically sugar and seed oils together with the lard and saying, look, it's that. No, it's not. Because when you go back to earlier studies, which I've shown stuff where they've just shown lard or bacon or stuff like that, real food, you don't get that effect because there's not an issue there. Never has been. People, the majority of people in the world, as I said, in the US, Cincinnati was called pork polis. Pork polis. And it was called that because it was a city of pork. It supplied the entire eastern seaboard and central part of the United States with lard. And the cooking oil up until the early part of the 20th century for the majority of Americans was lard. The Okinawans, it's lard. The Sardinians, it's lard. The Greeks in Ikaria, it's lard. My family, my father larded with his mother, helped his mother. He was the oldest son, in the mountains. And his grandfather, my great-grandfather, lived to 107. He hated vegetables, and he basically was dairy and meat, very much like the Messiah. So, it's just fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense, But that's a sort of cockwomble shit that we've got. Highly confounded with a whole lot of other things, but they ignore the other variables because it doesn't suit their narrative.